British, it's a kind of like a very strange phenomenon. We champion the underdog. I've just seen Ellie the Eagle, and it's a very okay. I'll be honest. It is a sports film by numbers. Okay, let me just kind of go through the list. You have Eddie the Eagle, Michael Edwards, the 1998 British hopeful for the Olympics, who, this is not a spoiler because it was 1988. He came last, not a spoiler, okay? That's me like saying, you know, oh, guess what? How the Titanic film ends. Everyone knows he came last, the same way everyone knows that Torvald Dean won gold in 1984. We know. Okay, this is actually a pretty good film. It's a nice, simple British comedy with its cute little dramatic moments about the plucky underdog jumping over the odds to come last, but who won the hearts and souls of everyone around, and we will salute you, Mr. Edwards. Hey, we actually did. I mean, I was 8 when Eddie performed his feats, and I remember the whole country getting on board with him, so, because once again we love the underdog. Now this film is, okay, this film is so British. It is British. Eddie is from the wrong side of the tracks. He's from a working class background. He is from a family that doesn't really understand. His father, played by Keith Allen, who everyone who watches Robin Hood, the crappy BBC drama that he was great as a sheriff, he's bringing that into it. His mum understands and his father doesn't. So he's from a poor working class background where he's a plasterer and he's got the money. He is pretty good actually in the sport, where he's a local lad who has a habit of coming third. But of course, as he doesn't have the same, middle class background, no one understands him, and he is told by all the delegates that he will never be an Olympian. Okay, so he decides just to go out to Germany and train, find the loophole in the Olympics that says that he can do it. So, guess how that ends. Okay. Aiding him in this misadventure, his coach is played by Hugh Jackman. I'd love to know what convinced Hugh Jackman to take this. I really would like to know. Maybe because he's a bit of an underdog himself, he kind of fell in love with the story, or they offered him a proceeds at the box office. I don't know. Having Hugh Jackman in this kind of elevates it a little bit. Hugh Jackman is having fun with this. He is literally the alcoholic, depressed, live by the bottle, until the moment where Eddie gets to the point where he proceeds to go so far that he just looks at the bottle, which he calls his jacket, and puts it away. He doesn't need the booze anymore. He's got something to aspire to. Oh, Eddie, you fulfill our hopes and dreams. We love you. Okay, so that's another thing he's got against him. Okay, when he finally does go to the Olympics, or originally qualifies, there's a loophole. So the Olympic Committee, because they're upper middle class posh bastards, they will let this plucky underdog go on. So he has to basically compete again and get a higher speed to go off and do his thing. Yeah. And then when he gets there, surrounded by the Sloane Rangers and the Who Are Henrys, once again, no one understands him. He's a laughingstock because how dare us working class people have dreams and aspirations to better our lot in life. I mean, Eddie, I'll give him his dues. He knew, the real Eddie, since it's based on his life, he knew he'd probably come last, but he didn't care. He just wanted to compete, and he fulfilled his goals. Problem is, it ticks every single box to even have a montage. I was sitting there in the cinema humming, anytime you want to go, or just to begin to a pro, we need a montage. Even Rocky had a montage. They had a montage. Yeah, they actually had a montage. Yeah, I know, had a montage. But you can see how everyone's affected by him, and everyone starts to believe in this plucky underdog. I like the fact that it doesn't ignore that 1988 Calgary Olympics was the same time as the Canadian bobsleigh team, aka Cool Runnings, because Dexter Fletcher, the director, and I'm going to give himself some dues as a director to turn this idea into a film, he definitely was inspired by watching Cool Runnings. It is, yeah, the people don't get you, we're doing this for ourselves, we're doing this for pride in our country kind of thing. And it actually does get a mention on the radio about the Jamaican bobsleigh team. That was totally, what's the polite word? distorted for the film, and yeah, so was this. You can kind of tell the bits that were fabricated and the bits that weren't. So I'm not saying Cool Runnings isn't a great film. It is, and a lot of Jamaicans have got into bobsleigh because of that film. So I I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it in that quintessential British plucky underdog way, and there's a big kind of thing going on about the class system and funding, and that is actually really prevalent today. I know this from experience because my nephew's a gymnast, and getting funding for his dreams can be quite difficult. So there is this thing about basically the push bastards want to keep the working classes, especially those who have dreams, talent, aspirations in their place. That has not changed over the last whatever. Okay. Sometimes, however, it was a little bit too heavy-handed. With the Cool Runnings in real life, the other bobsleigh teams were actually really, really kind of sympathetic towards the Jamaicans. They thought they were, they gave them kudos for competing. In this film, instead of the East Germans, we have the Finns, who are the team who absolutely hate Eddie, yet on the end are cheering for him. And also, one moment where he's hurt on the slopes, they are the first to his side and are ready to turn to his coach and say, what the hell's going on? Why aren't you looking out for his safety? Which I thought was a nice touch. And at the end of the film, they're cheering for him. I will give Desmond Fletcher his dues, though. He's the director of this film, and he's directed, I suppose, lots of films actually, but obviously this, and also Sunshine on a Leaf, which had a very working class mentality running through this. At no point do you forget that Eddie is working class, and that kind of adds to his, pluckiness, his belief. It reminded me a little bit in a way of the Paul Potts film One Chance, which I actually do have on DVD. About the plucky underdog story. It's that kind of elevates it slightly. If you're from that kind of background, you can sympathise with Eddie, and you know how it ends. He came last, but he's more remembered today than who won gold, and I've got no idea who won gold. Someone from Finland, I think. Hey, who cares? So, I am going to give this film some dues. Now, Taron Eggs, oh, forget it. The guy played Eggsy in what's that film called again? Kingsman, that's it. The guy played Eggsy in Kingsman. As Eddie, he looks nothing like it. It's quite funny. They try to kind of pad him out because in real life, Michael Edwards or Eddie Edwards, he was a lot more bigger than your average ski jumper. However, one scene that kind of screwed up a bit is a scene where he goes into the showers, into a spa thing, sauna, where he's got an almost perfect six-pack. Yeah. So they're trying to pad him out. They're trying to turn this gorgeous stud of a man, you've seen Kingsman, he's gorgeous, into a dork, and that does not convince at all. It physically can't. You kind of, not saying he's miscast, he's not, he's a very good actor, but you kind of have to, the moment you have to spend that disbelief that he's Eddie Edwards, you can just enjoy the film for what it is. So, direction wise, I'm going to give it its dues. Some of the visual shots are absolutely amazing. When you see the world from the ski jumper's point of view, it is absolutely stunning. The cinematography on this film was amazing. It is not ritzy or shiny, it's quite brutal at times as well, with the harsh realities of Eddie's life. A lot of things are kind of gloss over. Like, you never really get to know a lot of the other teams, but you don't really care about that. It's Eddie's journey and no one else's. And yeah, and Eddie himself, well, Eggsy, if you will, he's just adorable. So yeah, this film has some dues to it. Now, I'm not going to go out and probably buy this one. It's like, CNCX and sale, but it's a cute, quaint British drama. Just see it as that. It's a nice British film where it's not, violent, it's not hurtful. It's just a story of a plucky underdog who fulfilled his goals, and that was to become an Olympian. He didn't want to win. He didn't care if he won. He just wanted to compete, which is actually in the proper spirit of the Olympics, which people do forget. So, yeah, this film is solid. It's cute, quaint, and very solid. Deviates from real life, but you kind of get caught up in it. So yeah, I'm going to give this a solid. So anyway, thanks for watching my little cute quick review on Eddie the Eagle, and hey, take care, sign off, bye now.